What's up, YouTube? I just like to share my story, a little unique story, I guess you could call it, considering I was doing time in California prisons. I did almost 5 years. Most of my time I did it in Solano, CSP Solano, up Northern California, from Los Angeles. White. I grew up with Hispanics. I also speak some Spanish. Um, so my unique story is, I guess you want to call it unique, is me being white running with Mexicans in prison. Not the Sureños, not the Southsiders, but Mexicans, Paisas. I just didn't want to run with the white boys just because I had no white friends. I don't know no white people, at least back then. Uh, so I just wanted to run with somebody I felt comfortable with. And the Paisas, they accepted me, and I ran Paisa. It wasn't easy, especially going to LA County, running Paisa, But prison is what you make it, I guess. You take good and you can take some bad out of there as well. But I try to take a lot of good, and I haven't been back to prison since. And I got out in 2001. Um, but I didn't want to run with the white boys. Um, just didn't feel comfortable around them, I guess you can call it. But the Southsiders didn't make it too easy for me in LA County. They weren't. They could have made it worse. Don't get me wrong. They weren't that bad, but they could have made it worse. But I ran Paisa all through my case, fighting my case in LA County, Wayside, until I took my plea deal and I went up to Delano reception. Did a couple months there, I guess, and then I got shipped off to CSP Solano, which I never heard of Norteños until I got there. So um, I had no issues with them either. I mean, I didn't understand it. I don't understand the Norteño, Sureño. I mean, I do now, but back then I didn't understand it. I always thought Raza was Raza for the most part. But I learned that there's like different raza. There's bulldogs, there's Norteño, Sureño, Paisa, and I'm sure there's more even. But anyhow, ran with the Paisas and did all that, and got to know some African American lifers that were Bloods, Crips, that were pretty cool. I learned a lot from them, and I appreciate the knowledge they kicked with me. Also, white boy lifers, even some white boys that were cool. I mean, in the beginning they were like, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with this dude, right? But after doing some time there, we became cool with each other. So with that, um, I learned a lot of good basically, and I appreciate the white boys not making an issue of me running Paisa. After a while, we got into some conversations with some younger white boys that I actually rolled up to that prison with. Eventually, I'm talking about a year later, and they would tell me they just didn't like the fact that I would say I'm white. And I told him, bro, I'm white, bro. It's just like I have nothing in common with you guys, No disrespect, but it's just, and they just kept telling me they didn't like me saying I was white. Basically, they didn't want me to say I was white running Paisa, and it didn't come up a lot. But I understood where they're coming from, and it probably puts them into a spot as well. So anyhow, we never I never had no personal beefs with the white boys there. Only the riots when they kicked off, but it wasn't personal. They understood and I understood. It was just it is what it was, and luckily it was just a level 2. Nothing crazy, It wasn't level 3, level 4, and to be honest, I didn't want to go level 3 or level 4. Um, and the Norteños, they kind of tripped out on me too. I mean, I don't know how they felt. I was cool with one of them, like Wessels Bones or Wessels. I don't know if he was from Modesto or Turlock. I have no problem with that dude if I ever seen him. He did some work on me. So, what's up, Wessels? Um, but the white boys were cool. Considering they could have made an issue of, they could have said they don't want me in the yard. Like I heard they do some people, some white Crips or white Bloods, and there was a lot of white boys in Solano. Um, Raza for the Raza, for the most part, the deepest was the Paisas. There's more Norteños than Sureños, but if you had the Raza, Latino, the Mexicanos, was way more Paisas than any Sureño or Norteño. Even if you put the Sureño and Norteño together, there was more Paisas. Um, and I felt bad for the Sureños for the most part because I mean, I don't have a grudge in the match with Norteños or Sureños. To me, you're Raza and that's it. But they're the ones that had the beef with each other, so I had to put myself like I don't want to be too friendly with either side because I don't want to be in the middle of that. But I remember this one building, the Sureños. It was like building 24 on yard 4 in Solano. It's a single story building, the newer buildings, I guess. So you come in the building on one side, there's a bunch of racks. And in the middle is a day room, couple TVs, three TVs, and behind the TVs there was the showers and the bathrooms, and then on the other side there was the other bunk area. They brought some sureños in, and at this point there was no more sureños because the norteños took them all out already. So they're bringing some more sureños in. They probably had like 6 or 7 in that building. I think 7. But they had all of the sureños except one on one side of the building, and they had the other sureño with no bunkie by himself on the other side of the dorm. And they had, I don't think they had day room. I think there might have been a lockdown. They can only stay in the bed area, I believe. Sureños and norteños, if I'm not mistaken. But I felt bad for the sureño. His name was Smiley from Orange County, La Jolla, older vato. And I felt kind of bad for that dude because the sureños would just keep steadily like walking around him, like near him, like circling him like sharks and shit. Not that they're going to do something, but they made it look like they're going to do something. And you got to understand, the sureños didn't know what was going on at that point. They don't know what happened. They just roll up to a prison and they're there and they don't know. They don't have no homies. That's all they know. Only the ones they have are the ones that they came with. So uh, it was a trip. So I finally one day when I worked in a chow hall. So when I was coming back from the chow hall, I told the sureño, I walked past my, hey, you want this? Some extra food? And like, oh yeah, I appreciate it. And little by little, I start chopping it up with him. And I'll be honest, I hope the norteños don't get mad, but it is what it is. I gave him the rundown. I said, look, bro, my understanding of what I see is once so many sureños get onto this yard, it seems like the norteños will send a couple of hitters to go take off on like six of them or whatever in front of the building where the cops are at or something like that. They'll take them all out using less norteños than sureños. And I get it. They want to remain dominant on that yard. And I get it. And that's not my problem. That's gangster shit. It's not my. But I gave him the rundown. I go, that's my thing. That's what I think happened. But I don't know. I go, that's just my opinion. And I chopped it with that fool for a little bit. And I, I, I don't know. I felt bad for the dude, and put it in reverse. If it was a norteño there, and the sureños were doing that to him, and I worked in the chow, I would do the fucking same thing, bro. Because I'm not a part of the gang shit, bro. And I can talk to whoever the fuck I want to talk to, unless the paisas que no, right? No means no. But I know, like, and I talked to blacks too, though. Check this out. Like I moved to another building on the same yard. Black Charlie was my neighbor of blood. It was in building 20. Okay, building 19 and building 24 were the newer buildings, single stories. So I think I went from building 24 to building 23. I'm pretty sure it's building 23. But or my cubicle, this is all dorm living. My cubicle was in the corner. I forget what letter it was. I can't believe I forget the letter. But it was the first floor in the corner to the right. And we had my neighbor was Black Charlie. At least that's what I think to call him. He was a blood out of LA, older vato, lifer, been down 20 years at that point, if I'm not mistaken. And then in our cubicle, there was maybe 2 norteños, a few whites, and a few blacks. And I was the only Paisa bunk, and he was the only blood, but he had no bunkie. Chopped it. I became friends with that dude, and I appreciate him a lot, man. Hope he's doing good. Hope he made it out. Charlie, Black Charlie, lifer, Solano. Got along with that fool cool. Got along with Boss Hog in my building. He was a lifer, a crip. Hopefully he got out. He was a cool dude, man. He worked in the chow hall too. There was Dre, another crip, lifer. I believe he had the keys to the LA car. In that building, or if not on the yard, if I'm not mistaken. He was cool. He fixed my TV before I went home so I can at least watch it for the last 2 weeks. Didn't charge me nothing. He just told me make sure when I get out I have Pink's hot dogs for him, and I sure did. I hope Dre's doing good. Hope he made it out. There's Herm. He worked in the chow hall. He's the main kitchen dude in the chow hall. He's a blood, lifer, bounty hunter. Chopped it with that fool real cool. Messed around with him. Another crip, lifer, wino. He was in building 22. Older vato, lifer. Cool dude. Messed around with him a lot. And some white boys too. I mean, all I know, man, the white dudes, they one day asked me, and these are lifers too. They had swastikas on them and shit, bro. And I'm like, we never really had conversation. Once in a while, I'm in the chow hall and they're coming to the line. Hey, why don't hook me up with something like a banana, milk, or whatever? Like, all right, hook that fool up. I was a linebacker in there, and the guard would try to say something. I'm like, bro, he's a kitchen worker, even though he wasn't. He worked on yard crew, but it's his day off, man. He gets double up, man, whatever he wants. So the guard wouldn't trip. So I hooked him up every once in a while, whenever they asked if I seen him, and I was right there by the window. But you know what? We were on lockdown. The Paisas were on lockdown for fighting with in my old building. This is when I got moved from building 23 to building 22. I'm in Wino's building. the crypt, the lifer. We worked in the chow hall. He's a linebacker on the other side, but cool dude. But we were on lockdown because my old building where I just got moved out of, I had no bunking. They put the, I don't know who they put in my bunk, but they took the bunk from the Paisa and they gave it to another race. Right there, something happened between Norteños and the Paisas. Now you understand there's like 30 Paisas, if I want to say, I could be mistaken, roughly, right? 30 Paisas, maybe more. And there's maybe 12 Norteños in the building, if I'm not mistaken. And I think there was a Norteño that came to our building that came from the other yard. And I guess word got out that he threw a shank under a Paisa's rack when the guards were coming or something like that on another yard. Don't quote me on it, but something to that effect happened. So the Paisas found out like who he was and what happened on the other yard. So I like this. I like this about the Paisas. The shot caller for the yard, for the whole yard of the Paisas, was a vato from Sinaloa, and he had a homie that was, they call him El Grande, big old vato from Sinaloa. But the main shot caller was a shorter dude from Sinaloa, not short, but just shorter than Grande. Well, they told the Norteños, they didn't ask, and this is what I like. They gave them. They said, we're giving you like 3 days or 2 days, whatever it was, to remove that vato. We don't want him on our yard, because of what he did on the other yard. And nothing came of it. The Norteños didn't remove their own homies. They're not supposed to remove their own homies, so they didn't. And when they didn't, after their second day or third day, when that little light came on to do count time at 9 o'clock, they the Paisas moved on all the Norteños. And what they did is they took every Norteño out of that building. They rushed them. And we still had like 12, 15 Paisas left in that building after they rushed them. And there was no Norteños left in that building. And that was it. It was over. Nothing ever came of it in my building, but we were on stand guard. We were all like waiting for it. So we got all, Paisas got locked down, Norteños got locked down. Eventually they gave us day room, only day room, restricted, no work or school. And I got a funny story with that, with a Norteño. Caught me slipping gacho right there, bro. I'll get to that another day. Got me gacho, man. Almost. I mean, he didn't get me. He got me, but he didn't like attack me, but he could have until the Paisa showed up. But anyways, that's another story for another time. Um, I got some stories, not a lot. My time on YouTube is going to be brief. It's not going to be a long time. It's not going to be for like years. It's going to let me get my story out there. Hopefully it can make something positive out of prison to some people, show people that there is positivity, especially with the races. In California, everything's racially divided. So I got a lot of love for the blacks, especially the ones I became friends with that were lifers, that showed me some things, that taught me things, and I appreciate that of them. And some white boys too that came at me with good, positive, good vibes, man. And I appreciate all that I learned. I learned a lot of good. I learned some bad, but I learned a lot of good too. So my time on here is going to be brief, just to get my story out there, and hopefully it can reach good people in a positive way. Show people that race ain't nothing but a color. We're all the same. And I just want to share that with people, that the positivity, and hopefully I can get in contact with some of the people I was locked up with, just to shout out, talk to them, say thank you to them. Maybe just keep in touch. Because like I said, I appreciate what they did for me. And with that said, hopefully you guys will subscribe, like my video, share my video. And move on from there. And if, like I said, if I see this is going up, then I definitely keep pushing videos out there. But like I said, it's going to be brief. It's not going to be for a long time. It's just, my story's short. It's not like I only did for almost 5 years in prison. I can take you guys through the county, my experience through LA County, and go from there. Hopefully we can do that and reach people and show positivity with color, race. We're all one. With that, one love, YouTube. Take care.